What's up, everybody? Doc Dark 1985. There's levels to this. All right, guys, check this out, man. So, Halo Infinite already has bad reviews, the campaign mode, that is. And this is why I say that. Some of you are going to look at this video and you're going to say, Doc, you're just damage controlling right now. And that's fair. You could go ahead and say that. That's fair. But I just want you to listen to me. And if you feel like I'm correct, let me know. And if you disagree, be articulate as to why you disagree with what I'm saying. Okay. I want long paragraphs for this one. I want long paragraphs. I really want this conversation, this discourse to happen. So at the beginning of this generation, I remember a lot of people saying, I even made a video about it, asking why do you guys hate Xbox so much? Because I didn't understand the hate for Xbox. I was literally mostly playing on my PS4. I had an Xbox One S, but I didn't actually hate Xbox or hate the Microsoft or anything like that. I just didn't care for it last gen, right? No hate or nothing, just didn't really care for it. But this generation, when I switched over and I decided to purchase the Xbox Series X and be part of Game Pass and really dive into Xbox games that I had never played before, so I never owned a 360. I had an Xbox One S, but I only played a few games on it, like maybe the first Halo. That's really pretty much about it. So there's a lot of games that I saw on Game Pass that I was going to be able to play. So yes, I understood I was going to be playing old games, but I knew that I was going to be playing them at a higher fidelity, better frames, and stuff like that. So I was excited about that. And I wondered why a lot of people hated Microsoft. The response that I got the most was that pretty much Microsoft disappointed them as far as the way they did the Xbox One. First of the out the gate, how they came out, how they promoted it, um, the way of trading games, the Kinect, then the Xbox One X not delivering. So, and then the games just weren't up to par with what the PS4 had, right? So the beginning of this generation, what I heard the most was we don't actually hate Xbox. We don't hate Microsoft. We just want them to compete. We want better from Microsoft. We want better from Xbox. And as brand new to this whole console war thing, whatever, I believed you. I believe that you sincerely in your heart just wanted Microsoft to compete. Now, the problem is that you wanted Microsoft and Xbox to compete the way that you saw competition in your eyes. And I agree with you. I would have assumed that that's the way to compete in a video game centric genre. You would assume that Microsoft would compete with video games. Microsoft, Xbox, I keep saying them simultaneously or in the same sentence because they're pretty much the same. Xbox platform, period, decided to do something different. They decided to compete in a value way and they decided to compete in a reach way, meaning they wanted to just reach as many people as possible to the point that they understood, I believe at least, that Xbox understood that the momentum that the PlayStation brand has wasn't going anywhere and they weren't going to replace people that were PS5 or PlayStation fans. They weren't going to take that fan base away. So they understood that if we make a system, a platform where we could coincide with these players, I think we'll be all right. Hence the Xbox ecosystem that we have now, where you could play Xbox games on literally almost anything. And hence that $300 box that is the Xbox Series S, that is the perfect companion to a PS5. Like you literally have nothing to lose if you have a PS5 and you're a Sony centric fan, and you don't have to get the Xbox Series X. Just go ahead and get the S. You don't even have to get Game Pass. Just get the S just in case Microsoft does drop a game that you're like, you know what, I want to go ahead and play this and this looks like it's exclusive. Or you don't even have to do that because if you have a PC, you could go ahead and play. So again, Xbox this generation competed differently than what you might than the way you might have wanted them to compete. At the end of the day though, if you play their games, you're giving them what they want. So even if you don't play their games on an Xbox, and I remember I used to see that when people would say, Oh, I'm not getting an Xbox. I'll just play on PC. And I don't know why that sometimes would bother me, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, yeah, Microsoft is cool with that too. Xbox is cool with that too. Like, by all means, go ahead and play it on your PC. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's similar to Netflix, right? Netflix doesn't care what you're watching Netflix on. They don't care if you're watching it on a 65-inch 4K TV or if you're watching it on a 7-inch screen on your phone. Like, they don't care as long as you're watching their content and you're subscribing to their platform, right? So Xbox same way. They don't even care if you're buying it on the Microsoft Store. You could buy their games on Steam and they're perfectly fine with it. It's a different way to compete. So Microsoft is competing, and you would think that that would make you happy. But what I see is this. You started this generation saying that you wanted Microsoft to compete, and I believed you. But then you started seeing Microsoft competing, and you didn't like the way they were competing, and the way they were competing works. And you really don't like it. Not only did it work, but the stuff that you said was needed, right? Or the stuff that you said wasn't needed kind of backfired, right? So I heard a lot of people saying you buy a next gen console to play next gen games. However, most of us for the year played a lot of old games on our next gen console. Don't lie. Don't lie. Ratchet and Clank is what? 12 hours long? Don't lie. Well, you platinumed it 3 times, started a new account, and platinumed it again. So don't lie. I know you played old games on your PS5, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But that was one of the arguments. So when that argument didn't really fall through, it was kind of like, okay, that's a little iffy. I remember the whole "we believe in generations" argument. A lot of people damage control that, saying that that's not what they really meant, which is okay. That's fine. But I remember people saying you don't need an Xbox Series X because all those first party games you're going to be able to play on your Xbox One, which is true. Lord and behold, a lot of PlayStation 5 games I'm going to be able to play on my PS4 Pro, to include games that aren't even out yet, like Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, right? So, big titles, I'm still going to be able to play. Yeah, I can't play the new Ratchet and Clank. Oh well. Yeah, I can't play Returnal. Oh well. Well, I can't play Godfall. Oh no, I can't play Godfall. Godfall is on the PS4 as well, right? So again, that argument kind of fell away. So the competition, it starts to look muddy, starts to look weird. And then the end of the year comes along, and the one thing that you guys hold on to as hardcore PlayStation fans is the exclusive argument, right? Exclusivity, exclusivity, exclusivity. Exclusivity to a platform, because there used to be exclusivity to a box, but clearly Sony has showed that they don't have a problem putting games on PC. Even if there's not day and date, even if it's older, they don't have a problem with that. So that whole you need a PlayStation 5 to play these games, it's only for a matter of time. Eventually, that game's gonna go to PC. And if there's anything we know about the PC market, PC gamers, yo, they willing to wait. PC gamers play old games all the time because when you could download a game and you have the best freaking textures and everything, those old games look good. They're okay waiting for old games. So realistically, this generation, there really is no real need for a PS5 or an Xbox if you have the patience to wait. So that kind of messes up that argument. But the exclusivity argument is the one that really, I think, bothers you guys because hard hitting exclusives, great exclusives, is what everyone is talking about that really sells consoles. And the one argument people say is look at Nintendo. People buy Nintendo for their first party games, and that is a fact. You do not buy a Nintendo product to play third party games. You can, but that's not really what you're trying to do. Now, obviously, the Nintendo Switch, you got to give some respect to Nintendo. They've always been on the edge of innovation, trying new things. The, the fact that the Nintendo Switch is portable and everything does matter. It does mean a lot. There's a lot of people that don't even dock their Switch to only play in handheld mode. Okay, so much so that they came out with a Switch Lite. They're literally competing with their own handheld market, which is crazy that Nintendo would do that, but it's Nintendo, right? But the exclusivity thing, Microsoft then ends the year with two of the biggest exclusive games that have dropped this year, period. Exclusive to the platform, not exclusive to the box, which is Forza, Halo multiplayer. Now, the reason I'm saying that Halo Infinite already has bad reviews, the campaign does, is because of this, and I know this. In your heart, you and I are both excited for December 8th. Is it December 8th when the Halo Infinite campaign is dropping? You and I are both excited for this. We are. Our excitement, however, is different. I'm excited to try Halo Infinite, the campaign, and I'm hoping that Microsoft Xbox delivers a solid story. I like first single player games. I do. Like I said, I'm a fan of Sony. I am a fan of Sony. Uncharted I think is great. The Last of Us I think is amazing. God of War I like God of War 2018. I did. I like The Witcher 3. I mean, so I'm a fan. So Witcher 3 is not just Sony, but I just happen to play those games back to back. Anyway, so I like PlayStation. Okay, I don't have a problem with PlayStation. And I like the story-driven games. I like the what they call it, walking simulators. I think people like to call it. I like those games. I enjoy them. Okay. However, Forza Horizon 5, which is just a racing game, and Halo Infinite multiplayer have generated a much bigger buzz, a much larger player base than anything that has came out on the PS5. There's nothing on the PS5 exclusive wise that has been as big. Let's keep it platform to platform. Let's be fair. Yeah, there's nothing on the Sony platform that has been as big this generation, this year, as Forza 5 or Halo Infinite multiplayer. Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play and it's competing against big dogs. It's a first person shooter. You really think about that. It's a first person shooter that's competing against established franchises like Battlefield, like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Fortnite. Fortnite's not first person, but still, it's competing against shooters that have already established themselves. And it might not be winning in all those categories, but it's definitely up there and it's holding its own. For something that only has 3 modes, for something that's still not even fully polished, that's impressive. But the difference is, like I said, December 8th, I'm excited, you're excited for two different reasons. I'm excited because I want Microsoft and Xbox to deliver a great story, a great campaign, to put the icing on the cake as to what Halo Infinite already is. You are excited to find the flaws in this game. And that's a shame because you no longer want Microsoft to compete. You don't want Microsoft to compete. And any perception that Microsoft is competing, you shoot it down. And what's crazy is you don't even see that you're doing it. You legitimately don't even see that you're doing it. I don't even have to say that the Xbox platform is the best platform to game. I don't even have to say that. Just look at what Forza is. Forza is a great game. People are enjoying it. And what people are saying is just a racing game. Instead of you saying like, damn, I'm glad that Xbox got a game that has a lot of people playing it and a lot of people enjoying it. It's a multiplayer game. Maybe Sony will take a look at that. I want them to compete because now Microsoft is competing. I want Sony to have something similar, a great multiplayer or whatever. Or now Sony is seeing that, so they know that their next single player game, is going to be a banger as well. It's going to make sure that Sony stays up there, right? Microsoft is not better, but you want you want them to come up. That's what you said, right? You want them to compete. You don't want them to compete. At least you're not showing it with your actions. If every time something comes out, anytime any good news comes out about Microsoft, you're showing or you're talking about why it's not really good news and you're downplaying it. It's like your heart is still full of hate. I don't know what Microsoft or Xbox did to you, But you saying you want them to compete and then they start competing is not it. So I know that when Halo Infinite drops on December 8th, yes, Damage Control, we're going to see a lot of people pointing out the flaws of this game. The only thing I ask is this, for anyone out there that's watching this video, if you're going to pay attention to what anybody says about Halo Infinite on the 8th, go through their channel, go through their tweets, go wherever they posted on Reddit, whatever, and see if they have also spoken about other games, not just Microsoft games, having flaws. Because I guarantee you, every single game that has dropped this year has had flaws that you and I could both critique. There's no such thing as a perfect game. There's no such thing as a game without bugs. No such thing. So, with that being said, I hope Halo Infinite is really good. But all I know is that no matter how good it is, doesn't matter how good it is, there will still be haters. Because you don't actually want Microsoft to compete. And that's kind of weird. Prove me wrong. Say something positive. Doc Dog 1985, there's levels to this. We out. Peace.